If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Brother, the people that were waiting for what, like 9 months of the year for this evolution to pop up, for this first guy that pops up as one of the choices, is insane. You have to wait a whole year just to kind of get these cards to be at a certain point, right? But anyways, evolutions wise, new 9 is the new evolution. This is an evolution that you should do, right? I see Press Proven Plus right away. I don't really care about anything else. I think that's the most important playstyle in this game. If you don't have that playstyle, your players move like absolute garbage. The only people that I accept to not have a Press Proven Plus is the physical type attackers that compensates with, you know, good aerial ability, right? So for instance, Weghorst has that, you know, stuff like that. Those cards are obviously going to cook, right? But I think that with a lot of cards in this game nowadays, I'm telling you, after that one patch specifically, if you do not have Press Proven Plus, the left stick is just not responsive, or Trickster Plus. It's just how it works, right? It's very easy to read the cards nowadays because we just did the review for Vitinha and I mentioned the exact same thing. Be sure to check it out. But anyways, this evolution, good stuff, right? Obviously, giving that one main important playstyle is a big deal. And you're going to see why this card is the top choice, right? Because the responsiveness must be really nice with him in game, to be fair. Hopefully. Skill move upgrade, power shots, Press Proven Plus, Trivella, so on and so forth. And here's the crazy part. Striker position change as well, right? So guess who pops up first? Neymar. Why does Neymar pop up first? Because the guy has Trickster Plus and Press Proven Plus. So his left stick dribbling, regardless of his balance being at an 89, should feel very, very responsive in game, right? On the Hunter chemistry style, you would boost the pace, putting it in an area that's important for the meta of the game currently, right? And then you also increase his shooting to be high in the finishing department, which is also very, very important for a card who is 5-star, 5-star. Regular play styles, he doesn't have, you know, the finesse shots or anything like that, right? Some people who like to utilize the long range finesse shots, you know, won't be able to do that on a consistent basis, but you could totally still hit them, because I feel like his center of gravity is probably like really low on the card because he's 5'9", good shooting stats, right? So he could still potentially hit those, but it's mainly in the responsiveness of the card for a card that you would use in most of the attacking areas, right? So because he has the striker position change, you can use him there. You can use him as a cam. You can use him as a left or right-sided player, depending on the sort of formation that you'd be rocking. The play styles that are being added to the card is Power Shot Plus, which obviously can be helpful in certain situations, but it's the Press Proven Plus, in this case, working with the Trickster Plus. So for those of you who held on to the Neymar Gold card for the entire year, even though you're crazy because that's a long time, there you go, man. This card is most likely going to be extinct, obviously, right? It's the most obvious choice from this evolution because people want to be able to use Neymar without having to spend a bunch of money on the more expensive options. This is another very good card to do as well. Why? Because Hansen does have a thing, and here's the thing, right? We have to mention this all the time, is that one gameplay patch they dropped. In the beginning of the year, you didn't really care about the dribbling as much because people felt a certain way in the dribble anyways, so Hansen was just one of the good cards, right? But after that main patch, I tried her after that main patch, and trust me when I tell you that she needs this specific playstyle, unless you have this bad boy who, don't get me wrong, you still feel the left stick being a little bit weird because she doesn't have that as a Press Proven Plus, but she is a monster in game, right? Like you feel it not being there, but for her it's irrelevant, right? Because this card was absolutely incredible to use. I was using her on Fidum's account, and she was cooking, right? But this one, right, well formatted, a little bit different though, I will say. I have to mention that she does have a 79 for balance. Could be a little bit different, you know, female player, right? The way that the body type works could be a little bit different. Could you technically go in the route to getting her an engine chemistry style? You could, right? Pace boost, dribbling boost, and passing boost while working with okay shooting stats, because at this point in the game, it should be significantly higher. You can do that, right? It is a possibility. But again, from the choices, Neymar is going to be that guy for sure, right? Claudia Pena. This is actually a good card to be able to improve. I think this is actually a very, very nice card. For those of you that kept a hold of this card, who was an SPC during that time period, which to be fair was actually a decent SPC, I do remember her left stick feeling a certain way, but not caring about it because the finesse shot during that time period, especially in her case with the 5-star weak foot, was very, very effective, right? But now you have a significantly more usable version of this card who doesn't necessarily need a hunter chemistry style. You can actually give her the catalyst chemistry style because her shooting is already in a fantastic area. So if you kept hold of this card as a Barcelona player, which gives you links with a bunch of players, she looks really good, right? Dribbling is in a good area with the press proven plus, so the left stick dribbling would be more responsive. 5-star weak foot to work with finesse shots, incisive pass, power shot plus. It's a very good choice for an evolution, especially for those of you that are building some sort of Barcelona team. But even if you're not building a Barcelona team and you held on to her, this is a card that, in my opinion, will perform pretty well in the meta of the gameplay for sure. Youngmin's Son, the reason why we skipped past this card is because, don't get me wrong, press proven plus would definitely be a really big deal for him, but this card already has it, right? He already has that. He already has the finesse shot plus. So I think that, holding on to an inform for this amount of time to then just give him this evolution, I just feel like is a waste in comparison to just, being in the last 2 months of the game and just getting the team of the season, right? Because it exists on the market. And then obviously for those of you that, did the foot champs upgrade and then put him into a 95, then you could obviously do that too. But it's just more of a waste for a card like this because a card like that already exists, right? Giving him the press proven plus is already a thing. Jude Bellingham, right? So Jude Bellingham definitely looks like an interesting card for sure. Why? Because press proven plus definitely helps out with the dribbling. Because I will say that I have the team of the season card, and his left stick specifically isn't the craziest, right? It's decent for sure, and he's still going to be a great midfielder because he still has the regular intercept to work in that midfield position. But I'm going to tell you this right now, that left stick wise, this one would be a little bit more responsive to work with. Now, will you want to work with a lower pace without being a lengthy player on a shadow chemistry style for this Jude Bellingham? Depends on the person, right? Obviously, if you're lined up a certain way in your team where he's your stay back cover center player in that 4-3-2-1 or whatever, he can still do a pretty solid job in that general position, right? Passing the cards in a good area, dribbling, you're, getting improved in because he's got the press proven plus, so he would feel more responsive in game as well, right? Salah, another player, in my honest opinion, that needs the press proven plus because his dribbling in game, and I tried out the team of the season, you guys know I tried it out. I liked using team of the season Di Maria over the Salah card because Di Maria with the Trickster Plus was able to left stick more responsibly, and his attacking eye was really good too. Not to say that Salah wasn't a good card because he was still a really decent card, right? But you could definitely tell that his body type is more physical oriented, right? The Salah body type. So with this card, he had the regular press proven. I'll tell you guys this right now, it needed the press proven plus, right? So for those of you who are Liverpool fans who want a card that feels more responsive on the left stick, you can go in this direction. Would I recommend it fully? Not really, because he has a 3-star weak foot. At this point in the game, very, very important to get a card who is at the very least a 5-star, 4-star, or 4-star, 5-star in some sort of regard, right? Allison, who was the SBC card during that time period. This is not a bad one for those of you that have kept a hold of this card for a long period of time and you want a Liverpool midfielder as a card that could potentially attack for you because, his shooting is not necessarily in a bad area. This is not bad, right? Press proven plus being added to him makes him more responsive. That was a quote-unquote issue during that time period when he was initially released. He does have a press proven regular, but the plus will definitely make him more responsive for those of you who kept a hold of that card. Another very good example of a card that would definitely benefit off of this playstyle quite a bit, physical type striker Xerxes, who unfortunately is not a 5-star something, whether that's the weak foot or the skill moves, but as a physical type attacker, I still feel like this card would still be someone pretty decent in game. And now you have a card that can left stick properly as a physical type attacker, but you also have someone that is still very good in the air while also offering you a good physical presence, right? But again, it's very unfortunate that he is a 4-star player, not necessarily as ideal. With Kaka, another very similar situation where you make the card way more usable because Kaka every single year has the issue of having a left stick that feels more physical, right? So that's why you don't really often see Kaka in people's teams because his left stick always feels a certain way. And this is always the common occurrence with all the cards that do come out. Most of the times he just costs a lot of money just because it is Kaka, right? Kaka, the name, the Brazilian icon is what's carrying it forward. But Now you can get a version of his card that is significantly more usable, but he's still formatted a little bit strangely, right? A little bit, not necessarily fully, because at the end of the day, you could just give this card a Hawk chemistry style, and because he has been given the Press Room Plus, even though his agility and balance is a little bit lower in the 90s area, he would feel more responsive compared to some of the other cards when it comes to that left stick specifically, right? So obviously, if you are a fan of Kaka, you could go in that direction. Marino got a card too. I don't really see a lot of people doing this card, although he could still be pretty decent as well because he is physical oriented at a 6'2" height. So with this card having a 6'2" height, mid 90s for dribbling on a shadow chemistry style, a lot of potential to work with there, right? Does he have a regular intercept? Doesn't have a regular intercept, but he's still formatted nicely. Like, this is actually a decent card. The team of the season must have gone up a little bit at least, yeah. It's still a decent card, especially for people that are going in the sentimental route. You can't go wrong with that either, because the stat increase is very, very huge. It's a 5-star, 4-star player now. I can actually see this card cooking as the attacking center mid, because honestly, he's very, very well formatted. The only thing that he's lacking in the midfield position, especially with how tall he is obviously in the intercept department. But again, if you use him as some sort of attacker for the most part, I still feel like he would do well, because he actually has the striker position change. And for a card like this that also has the finesse shot plus and stuff, as a physical type attacker, you can actually technically use him in that area, right? So for people that are building some sort of different concept teams but still want players that are meta enough, that Marino card looks really cool, right? And there's different ways of being able to use him, which is definitely a W, right? Mateus, I don't think people are going to go too much in this direction, to be fair. People don't really often use this card that much. I don't really see him in anybody's teams, right? So that's why we skip past that. Musiala is definitely one of those cards that would benefit off of a press proven plus. This card's left stick dribbling, I can guarantee you any money in the entire world, will be better than the team of the season card, left stick wise, 100%, right? Now, what it won't be better in is going to be in the R1 departments. You know what's really funny now that I'm like noticing this, right? This card has Trickster Plus, but the 99 dribbling on his card, and I guess it depends on certain players, whether it's the unique body type or whatever it is, his left stick did not feel as responsive as it should have with the Trickster Plus and with 99 dribbling stats. For instance, we have a Ronaldinho card, and don't get me wrong, these cards are very expensive. Don't give me like 100%. I completely understand what people are saying, right? But he's not 99 in the dribbling department, but he does have the Trickster Plus. And I'm telling you that this card left stick wise just feels more responsive, feels more sharp, right? And the team of the season I use quite a bit too. I don't know if I ever did his review. I think I did actually, and I mentioned that being a thing too, where it was like a little bit off on the card, right? Let's see what other cards are here that really stand out. Mateus with press proven will make him more responsive too, because he has like a stockish sort of body type, to be fair. Çalhanoğlu, I actually never tried out this card in game, so I have zero clue as to what he's like in game. He does already have a card, so I guess this would depend on the sort of play styles that you want and what sort of responsiveness he wants too. Marquez gets an evolution improvement. To be fair, the base card stats improvements are nice, but it might be a waste on this evolution in particular. I think that in the future, if he gets one that's more defensive oriented, this could be a really, really good card, right? I think this one would be a little bit more of a waste for sure, because of the playstyle pluses that you do end up giving him. Power shots and press proven plus, like, it's not necessarily like super relevant. I mean, technically speaking, if you use them as an actual CDM and then you actually pop with those bad boys, then sure. But I guess it depends on the person, really. Clark actually gets an improvement too. So if you have the Showdown Plus version of this card, Press Proven Plus would make him more responsive, which is really cool, right? For a Liverpool fan especially, who has held on to this card, definitely a really nice improvement, especially on that Shadow Chemistry style, increasing the defense and pace as much as possible. He's a well-rounded card that looks like someone that could play really well in the attacking center mid position, because he also still has the regular intercept. This was one of those cards that was very hard to judge for a showdown before he got the upgrade, because honestly, he just felt like a bronze card upgraded to whatever the stats he had during that time period. But once they actually upgraded the card, and now in this case, they're further upgrading the card, I can actually see him being a really solid card. Now, that's the thing. We never know, right? Because sometimes they drop upgrades for certain cards that I don't even find to be that good, right? Like for me personally, a really good example of this is when they dropped the Musiala. Is it Musiala, the right back from PSG? I think it's Musiala. They dropped him as an evolution. He got the plus version, and I think there was like another thing on top of that or something like that, where I used the best version of his card, and he didn't have any special sauce to him, but they did add special sauce to this card, but there's no way of knowing that they're going to add it, right? It's just one of those types of things with how the cards generally perform in game, right? Some of these cards could actually be really cool. Like Marchisio could be really nice, because Marchisio definitely needs that press room plus to make him feel more responsive on the dribble. He definitely is one of those players that is going to feel more physical on the ball, I would say, for sure, with the heights, body type, and stuff that he's working with. This actually looks like a pretty decent card. 5-star, 4-star. You make him more responsive on the dribble. You could technically use him as a person as the attacking center mid. So for somebody building some sort of Italian team, you can't go wrong, right? I think he's going to go up in price a little bit to 13.5k. There's going to be a few cards you can like choose from this, to be honest. Like, it's not just like a Billy. Billy? No, this was like those SBCs during that time period. Like Xabi Alonso wouldn't be a horrible one either, actually. Is he a lengthy on a shadow? My bottle's in the way. He's a controlled on a shadow. That's unfortunate. If he was the lengthy on a shadow, that definitely would have been really nice. Technically, you can give him an anchor, right, on the Xabi Alonso, but the acceleration is gonna be on the lower side, right? Center backs I would avoid. Power shot plus kind of useless for that. Acuna wouldn't be a horrible one. More so if you gave him a hunter. Yeah. Son, Bonmati. Bonmati apparently is going to get a new card too. Modric should make him more responsive. That's definitely really nice. Ribery as well with a press proven plus. Yeah, that might not be too bad. Van Boomen, Seedorf, DePaul from that one SBC that dropped during that time period. Is this the... Oh, I thought this was this version. Yeah, but still, he has... No, this is still pretty good. What's the difference between that and this? That's pretty big, actually. This card they should have released as an SBC like a long time ago. Long time ago. During that time period they were releasing all those cards. They should have. Pedro with no finesse shot on this one, eh? What is it? What card is this? Oh, the Champions League one? There's a few options here. There's a few for sure. Bruno Fernandes without the intercept. You got players like Bentancur that gets a physical type attacker like Richarlison who would benefit from it. Kamara. Bro, check out this Kamara card, man. If you held on to this guy, right? If you held on to this guy, look at the card, bro. If you held on to him. Intercept plus. He doesn't have interceptions, but intercept plus would compensate pretty well for that. But like on a shadow, like look at this thing. With a press proven plus as well. Like that's so funny. Bruno Fernandes as well. Aronson for the American team. Yeah, he's 5-star, 3-star. Yeah, I would just tell you guys, like, try to look for players that generally have good playstyle pluses. Like, this is a pretty good example, right? McKennie on a shadow chemistry style is a controlled lengthy player, right? 5-star, 3-star is not as relevant for him because you're not gonna want to attack that much with him, right? But the playstyle pluses would be a huge deal. I think giving him relentless, intercept, and press proven, like all three of those are pretty crazy to work with, right? Marta gets one. Marta actually is one of those players that is in drastic need of one, and in this case, she looks like she would have potentially very good left stick because she's got Trickster plus to work with press proven plus at this point on a hunter chemistry style. Her agility is not high, so it's one of those things that you'd be risking, right? But makes her way more usable. Gakpo is definitely one of those guys that needs press proven. That's why on the regular card they gave him a regular press proven. So, you know, evolution wise, you know, usability wise, you could technically go in the engine route, give him a press proven, but then you'd be working with lower shooting, right? So you have to be very mindful with the players that you pick, right? Because it's always ideal to have players that, you know, can dribble well in most of the positions. Like honestly, even if you win the route of giving them to the fullbacks, like it wouldn't be bad if that actually exists. I don't know if it does for the requirements, but yeah, I'm not against the top tier list, I think Sun, I'd remove Sun from this because the team of the season exists. Claudia Pena looks like a beast. Hansen looks really good if the bounce doesn't annoy you. And then Neymar is like going to be a pretty obvious choice for like a lot of people. But yeah, there's some people here that will make them more usable, especially if you can't afford the higher rated cards, which, let's be real, at this point in the game, you need like really meta players to be able to move properly, right? So definitely really cool that this card has finally dropped, because honestly, it's a W evolution for him to make him as responsive as possible in the current meta of the game, right? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video today. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.